Hello, welcome to the Year 9 Options video. I'm Mrs. Kennedy, the head of history, but any of the history teachers within the department can teach to GCSE level.
So, what do we study in history? This is a really important question for you when deciding to choose history at GCSE, because I always say the most important thing is to choose subjects that you enjoy. So hopefully we will give you a flavour into the really exciting course that we have to offer at Beacon Academy.
The first topic we study is Anglo-Saxon and Norman England. Now, you might remember doing the Battle of Hastings at Year 7. This course goes into more depth, situating the battle and William's attempts to control England into context. Starting during the reign of Edward the Confessor during the Anglo-Saxons, the course compares Saxon society and Norman society in terms of the role of the king, armies, social structure, land holding, and the church, not forgetting how William deals with the many rebellions during his reign.
Now, in history, we are lucky to have a wealth of stories to tell you in lessons. And I thought throughout this video, we would share with you some of the best ones from each side of the course. So here goes with the Anglo-Saxon history nugget of information. Have you ever had an argument with a sibling and felt a little bit fed up when your parents took their side? Well, William the Conqueror's son, Robert, took that to the extreme. In 1077, his brothers William, Rufus and Henry were bored and so played a prank on their eldest brother. They emptied a full chamber pot over Robert's head, and the three brothers ended up in a fight which King William had to break up. Robert felt so aggrieved that King William didn't punish his younger brothers severely enough that he led a revolt against his own father and laid siege to one of his castles. We also study medicine through time in Year 10, and what's really interesting about this course is it starts in the Middle Ages and goes all the way to the present day, and it really makes you appreciate and understand that science and technology have only really progressed in the last 200 years or so. The course is split so that you look at what people thought the causes of disease were. So, for example, if we go back to the Middle Ages, the role of religion is really important in that. It looks at treatments that people thought would work, including surgery, very early surgery. It looks at preventative measures like vaccinations, which is, of course, very important in the world that we live in today. And it looks at care, who cared for you and where you were being cared for, right up to modern day and the foundation of the NHS. The medicine course is so full of historical nuggets of information, it was difficult to choose just one, but here we go. In the 19th century, French doctor François-Joseph Victor Boisset claimed that all disease was caused by inflammation that could be cured by bloodletting. What followed was what we call a leech craze, where barrels full of leeches were shipped across the globe to suck the blood of people suffering from all sorts of illnesses. The wild leech population was brought almost to the point of extinction.
Topic 3 looks at Weimar and Nazi Germany. What I find refreshing about this course is its focus on Hitler's rise to power and the changes he made to Germany before the war, rather than focusing on the war itself, which you are currently studying in Year 9. The course starts at the end of World War I, when Germany sets up its first democracy. Through the unit, we look at why extremism rose within Germany in the form of the Nazi Party and how Hitler was able to come to power. Whilst having a political focus, the course also has an element of social history, comparing the lives of different groups in Weimar and Nazi society, including the role of women and ethnic minorities. Topic 4 is a unit on superpower and Cold War relations. This unit is all about the broad narrative of key events in Cold War history. You will learn in Year 9 that the USSR and USA were eventually allies during World War II. This course goes on to explain why that was very much an alliance of convenience, and that after World War II, the USSR and USA would go on to compete in many different ways: the nuclear arms race, space race, and the divisions of communism and capitalism. It looks at fascinating events such as the Berlin blockade, Berlin Wall, Cuban Missile Crisis, before ending on a unit focusing on détente, essentially how the USSR and USA tried to resolve their differences and commit to peace.
Now, every year when we do Year 9 options, there are a few questions that I get asked. So I just wanted to do a bit of fact or fiction with you. So the first one is that all the questions are really long essay questions on the history paper. And in fact, that is false. We have a series of smaller, shorter answer questions which are around 4 marks. So please do not be put off by the history GCSE due to the length of writing. There is a real range of questions that you will be asked about. Second fact or fiction is that geography is easier. Now, we know that you have to choose either history or geography. And some people tend to take geography because there is this myth that it is easier, but that is in fact false. There is still a range of different style questions on the geography paper. Realistically, how you need to make that decision between history and geography is about which one you enjoy and whether or not the GCSE will impact potentially what you want to do later on in life. Sometimes I get asked, isn't history just about dates? No, that is definitely false. There are a couple of dates that are important, but it isn't that we sit there and we drill you on dates. It's really about people and how people's lives, society, politics, religion has changed over time. You will, though, have a better understanding of the world that you live in. All of the courses that we study have a direct relation to the world that you live in today, whether that's the foundation of England with the Anglo-Saxon or the impact of the superpowers of America and Russia during the Cold War unit. Some people think that if you do a history GCSE and A-level, that the only thing that you can do is be a history teacher. That is false. We are going to talk a little bit more about that later, and Miss Akehurst is going to take you through that. And finally, every GCSE history teacher is really passionate about that subject. That is definitely true. We pride ourselves in our department in constantly being what we call active historians. So yes, we are teachers, but we also see ourselves as active historians. What that means is we are constantly reading and researching throughout the years that we teach to make sure that you have a wide range of information available to you. So where can history take you in life then? This is quite often a popular question, as I said earlier. Some students believing that if you do history GCSE and A-level, the only thing that you can do is be a history teacher. And that is not the case. So Miss Akehurst is going to talk you through the range of things that a history GCSE can do for you in your future.
History can actually lead to so many different careers, some of them which are directly related to the subject, such as education, museum work, tourism, but some of them are ones that you might not expect. Go into the police force, go into event planning, finance, and it's because what you learn in history is not just the actual history itself. You learn a lot of transferable skills. Now, transferable skills are something that employers look for. Essentially, these are skills that can be used in a variety of situations. So, for example, some of the transferable skills that you learn in history are source analysis, reading and processing information, verbal and written communication, being able to support an argument, using evidence, making a judgment, and debating. And that's just a selection of the skills that you can learn. These skills can then take you into all kinds of different careers. So whether you study history just at GCSE, or in fact you take it further than that and look at A-level, it can lead you down all sorts of different career paths. There will be a list of careers on the screen for you in a moment. I would like you to take a minute to have a read through all of those different careers and see if there's anything that takes your fancy. Because if you've ever thought about doing any of these different things, or you think you might want to one day, history GCSE could be a really, really good option.
So what if you want to know more? So you can always email me, Mrs. Kennedy, and my email address is on the screen, or any of our history teachers would be more than happy to talk you through some of the course as well. So please do get in touch if you need to know anything else.